Hey guys, cool blown my back. I'm Rick.
I'm Maggie.
And we are here with Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex. And I'm excited, as you can tell. Last time on, there was an investor / mathematician who played the system, got filthy rich in a bedroom
full
of gold. And he was to be assassinated by an anti-capitalist sent by the South Chinese, who killed people with money.
Yes.
Pretty great.
Loaded into her arm is great.
Pretty
None of that
great.
Holding a 50-cent roll and punching people.
But most concernedly, at the very end, Togasa, his computer, something happened.
And bought a bunch of shares of Cerno Genomics.
Yep.
Which from episode 4 we learned they were the ones that created the interceptors.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which
that
is,
seems like a conflict.
Yeah, it's dealing with the Laughing Man investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope things work out okay, because I love him.
Yes, and his family.
Let's find out.
Well, we're seeing the first ghost developing, I guess.
I don't know, maybe. It depends on how you define it, I guess. Like the one Tachikoma said that, like, we can never grow ghosts, and no matter how many mechanical parts that humans put inside them, the ghost will never diminish. But I don't know to take them at that.
Well, we talked about that idea like episodes and episodes ago, where basically, like, how do you replicate everything that happens biologically to the brain that makes us human? Like,
sure,
how we react to things. It's like, what gives us our ghost? It's like, if we can go one way, then doesn't it make sense that things can flip the other way too?
Maybe.
And it seems perfectly logical. It's really interesting. Like, I would really love them to explore this more. I'm wondering if maybe it won't, like, it's such a big, important topic that I'll be honest, I'd be surprised if they did get into it completely, because I feel like that could take over quite a bit of,
maybe,
like, the importance of the show. Like, the other stuff they're doing is like, oh, okay, it's like, that's important and everything, but like, machines are growing souls. That seems really important.
It is. It's covered in the movie. I don't want to spoil it because I know you haven't seen it, but it does take it in sort of an interesting direction, and it does somewhat answer the question, I feel like. But this is in a different universe, so like that answer might not apply here.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thing.
And it seemed like this wasn't like they weren't broken necessarily. Like, they were planned to have this pathway. They just were going way too fast.
Yeah, they were probably planned to learn and like get better and adapt and things, but the learning didn't stop at combat scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just sort of escalated. Partially due to Bato, I feel like.
Well, yeah, that might have sped things up a bit, but they're also just their efforts to connect more with even the Major. It's like the story she told them and such, and all of their efforts to connect to all of the people. It seems like that was really interesting, because like some of the Tachikomas were like attacking the problem in different ways too. Like, that one was reading like crazy, and it's just very interesting, and I totally am behind the idea of like, okay, we should let them go down this pathway, but maybe not
in the field. Yeah.
With weaponry.
Well, they said too that like this kept happening in the simulations too, so I guess it's not just Bato. But yeah, this seems like something that needs to be observed in the lab. I will miss them.
Well, who's to say they leave completely? They still need to grow, and they still need to have interactions. And this is the area that they've done thus far. But they might just, be a
About to go visit
little
them.
Floating orb thing, or everybody's got one as a plant beside their desk or something. I don't know. Just,
Well, they've got to disarm them. Mm-hmm. At the very least. But it seems like they're going to, like, take away their bodies, maybe, in the lab and just... I'm not sure. Not sure what they're going to do. I wonder if we'll see it, or if that's it.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how they react to that, because, I mean, as we've talked about at length with humans recognizing sense of self and seeing those changes and still being able to think of yourself as yourself, no matter what you may look like and such. How will the Tachikomas react to it?
My favorite line, where they said, like, people who can't handle the self-reference paradox are losers.
Yes, because it was so funny them talking about, like, oh, like people are so nasty, like, using, like, words like cyborgs and such, and it's terrible and such. And then they go and they make fun of another, like, machine. It's like, don't you, like, associate with her at all? And then there's, like, they're losers.
They did have some good points, though, about, like, the more human-looking a machine is, like, the purposely more limited it's made to not cross that line.
Is there a term for that besides the uncanny valley?
Well, it would be whatever it is to avoid the uncanny valley, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know what the term is. There probably is one. Like depersonification or something?
Yeah, something like that. Because I always thought the uncanny valley was definitely a, like, when your brain starts connecting pathways to get you to respond to something, even though you know logically, like, this isn't something.
Yeah.
But it happens to you as an adult, whereas, like, when like a small child or something, they can start reacting and talking to, like, a doll or something, and, like, believe it's really there or something, or like, believe, like, no, that's Kermit actually talking and such. But with adults, it's a lot scarier.
Well, like...
we could, like, feel it happening or something. And
like, you can see a depiction, like, of a sexual organ or a beautiful woman or something, and, like, feel a similar response. Like, it doesn't have to be like the uncanny valley version. It could just be your mind can, like, connect the dots.
Oh yeah, like, I mean, like with cartoons still being able to give you an emotional reaction to a situation, or anime,
Yeah.
being able to give you an emotional reaction to a situation without you necessarily being like, that's too real. I wonder if it always, like, I mean, especially with nowadays how we watch so much stuff that is, like, it seems like it wasn't that long ago that if it was animated, you could really tell. It's like the hair was all just, like, kind of a couple chunks that would kind of move weirdly and such. But, like, the more time goes on, the more stuff looks really real.
It just depends. I mean, Miyazaki's stuff has always looked amazing, and that started in the 70s, you know? Like, it just depends on the effort and the money put into it, I think.
I feel like Miyazaki stuff especially, though, it the way it's mostly hand-drawn, it's like there's less of a computer's connection to that from creator to observer.
Yeah.
So that I would understand that, like, being able to rise those emotions more than, like, if you'd gone to a computer to, like, completely generate something. Like, you remember when Shrek first came out and we were like, oh wow, that they had individual blades of grass, and, like, her hair looked amazing, and her skin was, like, actual, like, layers, and how, like, Boromir looked super dead, and we were like, ah, like, it was amazing.
I think it was emotionally effective. And I think Toy Story was as well.
But is that training us to accept things and to be able to connect things that, if they're on a screen, much more readily than if it was, like, in front of us?
I don't know. Maybe.
I'm just wondering, like, how would Eevee react to that sort of thing?
I think the thing with the Uncanny Valley is it's just, as long as you don't get too close to the point of being real. Like, I think if something that was very cartoony, like if it was a Roger Rabbit situation, I feel like that would be more easily accepted than something that almost looks human, maybe.
Yeah. I think it being there, like physically, or tricking you into feeling that it's there physically, I think that has a connection to it too.
It could. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's crazy, biological connections where it's like, that's there. Like it.
Maybe we'll find out in our lifetime.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe we'll find out what happens to the Tachikomas next time.
I hope they're fine.
Thank you guys for watching our reaction to Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex. We are going to be watching more next week, and you can subscribe so that you catch it. Or you can head over to patreon.com/blindwave, where you can watch the next 4 reactions right now. Not just of this, but of all of the non-live shows that we do. Which is quite a few. Bye.